Hello and welcome to another episode of Evening Crypto with your boy, the Real Shot 256, bringing you another episode, the weekend edition of Evening Crypto. And tonight we want to wrap up the week in news, the week in technical analysis, what is happening all the way through Monday into and leading into the weekend. We can definitely say that it was an eventful week in the crypto sphere with a lot of price action and a lot of news as of late in the last couple of days. Everybody's come out and talked about Bitcoin, Peter Schiff, gold maximalist. We have Donald Trump talking about Bitcoin and how he's not a big fan. We also had federal chairman, Fed Chairman Powell validating Bitcoin in front of Congress, saying how Bitcoin could potentially be a reserve currency. We talked about that in last night's video. And just, ending the week, it is Friday night here in the States, West Coast, United States. It's about 10:04 my time here. And, we definitely closed the week with a lot of excitement, a lot of things to talk about. So I'm definitely excited to bring this episode to you guys and just kind of recap on everything that happened at the beginning of the week. I told you guys on my Sunday night video that I was very, very excited coming into the week on Monday because there was just a telltale sign on the charts that Bitcoin was going to make a big move, and it actually did. Started off very, very hot at the beginning of the week, and then we saw the considerable correction in the middle of the week, and then we closed it off by recuperating, and then we see a bunch of green numbers in coin market cap. Stellar with double digits, a double digit bounce. The winner, I think, today is definitely Chainlink, bouncing quite nicely, I should say. I gave you guys some target entries for Chainlink in my past videos, so hopefully you've been paying attention and you took advantage of these entries. Gave you 2 entry points, and it actually hit both of them. And I definitely, I was waiting for this correction in Chainlink for me to be able to go in at a considerably good position with Chainlink. A little bit later in the game for me myself, just not because again, I'm not a big fan of trading these shit coins. Not to call Chainlink is a shitcoin, not to go out and outright just ban it or label it that way. But I was waiting for a better position to go into Chainlink, as it has been definitely one of the hottest altcoins in this 2019. Definitely jumping a significant amount of spots within the crypto coin market cap and establishing itself in the top 15 of the charts. Actually, it was top 15 earlier today, and Dash just kind of overtook it. There is a minimal difference here between the two coins. I do think long-term Chainlink should be getting closer to the top 10 of the charts here. But going back to the action this week, I do want to start by mentioning that Donald Trump, federal chairman, Mr. Peter Schiff, everybody getting involved and talking about Bitcoin at the end of the week. It does bring an interesting point. There is an interesting dynamic going on with federal government and Congress, since they can't go after Bitcoin because there is no company behind Bitcoin, or no CEO or any headquarters to mention. So they can't do that, but they're certainly going after Facebook Libra Coin, saying pretty much, "Hey Facebook, what are you trying to do here? Trying to create a digital currency? It's not a crypto, but a digital currency to compete with other currencies, among those the U.S. dollar. Obviously, they are targeting Facebook because they know there is actually a company behind it that is organizing such initiative, and they don't want to allow Facebook to deploy their native currency because U.S. federates are afraid it will diminish the power and influence of the U.S. Dollar, and rightfully so. We did see Congressman Sherman about a month or two ago coming out and admitting to the fact that Bitcoin can be really potentially bad for the US dollar, as it could potentially diminish the power and influence the dollar has over other nations and other markets. And the interesting part also in all of this is that Congress hasn't been able to stop Bitcoin. So the only thing they can really do is watch from the sidelines. And here we have LibraCoin coming in and taking all the scrutiny and all the opposition from Congress, and it's bringing up it's bringing up the conversation around Bitcoin. So if it weren't for LibraCoin right now, Congress and the President Donald Trump wouldn't be really talking about Bitcoin or LibraCoin or cryptocurrencies at all. And so it is like I have to give credit to where credit is due. Libra um, has lent a bright light into the depths of digital assets, this market as a whole, and I couldn't feel more bullish about this whole scenario playing out here in the long term of things. So, you know, only thing I can say about that is, hey, go Libra Coin, go on with your best self. So, um, yeah, it's pretty ironic that Facebook and Libra Coin have actually emerged and has garnished a lot of attention from governments, but the real winner here underneath it all is Bitcoin. Um, we got the president to talk about it. We got the federal chairman to talk about it. We got Peter Schiff to talk about it. So, although they're not expressing positively about Bitcoin, there is a saying out there that says there's no such thing as bad publicity. So we have to really look and read between the lines here and realize that this is actually a positive thing for everyone involved. so um, taking a look at the charts, I want to start off by recapping the state of the market tonight. We're at $317 billion market cap, $67 billion in trading volume. Seems a bit low uh, given the recent price action. It's actually hitting some of the lower points that we have seen in 24-hour volume, trading volume in the last few weeks. But that could change at any time, at any moment. We are pretty used to some big spikes in volume within the crypto sphere, so that could change at any given moment. Bitcoin dominance is up to 65.2%, and in my opinion, will continue to rise because again, I've been observing the price action within the altcoins and bitcoins, uh, and just seeing how the price reacts, the altcoins react to bitcoins runs and dips, and it seems like there is definitely a very minute amount of altcoins that are actually trying, but not really keeping up with Bitcoin. But they're trying to keep up with Bitcoin anytime it goes up. But then when Bitcoin corrects and goes on takes a dip, then we see the altcoins dip a bit harder than Bitcoin, and then we see a recovery by Bitcoin, but not really a big huge recovery from the altcoins. And we do see it here today. Bitcoin jumping up almost 3% at some point in the day. XRP with 3% as well. But everybody else, it's single digits, low single digits, except for a few altcoins here. As we were mentioning, Chainlink did have a double-digit bounce, which is good to see. But other than that, again, the altcoins are not really following. So it just goes to show that the altcoin summer is not going to be here anytime soon. So hopefully you're not waiting on that. Hopefully you've been listening and paying attention to this channel as we've been preaching to you guys that, hey, maybe it's advantageous for you to rethink your portfolio, restructure, and put your money into something that is actually generating some revenues, constantly going up more than it's going down, as opposed to what we've seen as of late with the altcoins. All right, enough of that. I'm going to go into the TA side of things, and then after that, I'll talk about the recent tweets by Mr. POTUS, um, and then we'll end it there. But taking a look at the charts, I was telling you guys last night that um, I was expecting Bitcoin to have a bounce off at 21 as it did. We closed a new daily in the green and above the 30 simple here. So that again makes us feel a bit more bullish. The fact that we did close a daily on top of the 30 here, and we're still above it as of right now. We're still above it as of right now, or actually just trading right on the 30 simple. But overall, if it does come back, I do think it's going to retest the 21. But I don't think it's ready to dip below the 21 EMA. I do think again we're going to grind, maybe trade sideways here a little bit, but grind up in the longer term of things. As I was telling you again in my last video, um, geez, I had let's actually bring out our pitchfork here using a modified shift pitchfork that has been instrumental and just letting us know where Bitcoin is in the actually we're right here in the scheme of things. It's really hard to get it right. Where's my point height? Uh, Sorry guys, I have a very sensitive mouse. All right, so as I've been showing you guys in my last videos, and then let's bring out the Fibonacci retracement tool. For that, we're going to have to go here to pivot high, to the ultimate pivot low. All right. And this just helps us find some confluence with some areas of support and see if there's a retracement, algorithmic retracement coming in, and with confluence along with the with some of the moving averages. And we do actually see a little bit of confluence in support here around the 0.5 and the 30 simple and the 21. I mean, not pinpoint accuracy here, but you get the gist. It's pretty right on. There's definitely a lot of support, which is why we can definitely say that Bitcoin has naturally bounced off the 21 here and the 0.5 and is currently trading again above it. So makes us feel that like there's plenty of help right in this region here, plenty of support here that is not allowing for Bitcoin to go and have a bigger correction. But again, the overall posture on the daily chart looks very, very bullish to me. We're trading again on the top of this channel, not on top of it yet as we did back here. However, we are on top of this pitchfork channel. So with a very, very bullish posture, we're still again above most. I would say about 99% of the moving averages here, just staying right on par with the 30 simple here. But overall, again, we're probably going to grind in this small blue area here, this blue channel, top of the pitchfork here, and eventually break out and come back and retest the 618 here at around 13.4. What I'm looking for is a break of the 12,400 area. If we close a 4-hour candle above the 12,400 range, then I do think we're definitely going to go back and retest the 13,435. This may not happen over the weekend. As we know, we're kind of used to low volumes and low trading activity during the weekend, so we might have to wait till the end of next, or might have to wait till the beginning of next week before we see some significant price action, significant trading volume coming back into the crypto market. RSI is looking like the bears have taken control over on the daily, but again, it is fighting back with a lot of support in this area. There's a lot of confluence again in this area, so the RSI is not really dragging the price down, although it has been, for the past few days since July 1st, it has been in the bearish control zone, not really getting out of there. But if we are to go back and close a 4-hour candle above 12,400, the RSI is going to show us has to show us a much more bullish posture than what is showing us right now, given the fact that it is currently in the bear control zone. We want to definitely see it get out of there into the more neutral zone here first, and then break above that neutral zone and into the more bullish zone here. Excuse me. All right, let's get a little bit more granular here. Let's look at the 4 hour. 4 hour again. You know, we see price action bounce between the top of the channel and back and forth, but finding support here in this red line, the middle of the pitchfork. Below that, we have the blue 200 EMA, which has been also a big area of support in Bitcoin's price action going back to, gosh, a pretty long time. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's been acting as support for a very, very long time, back to, we'll just call it, you know, in this area here, back here since February of this year, kind of overtook it. Price action got above the 200, and it hasn't dipped below it since the beginning of the year almost. And we have seen Bitcoin have many, many bounces off the 200 and just keep acting as support. So as long as we're above it, I'm not going to get bearish at all. I think if we do break it, it's still not the end all be all. There is a lot of confluence and a lot of support coming in here at the 382 and also the 377, and also we have the 377, and what is my other line? This is the 10 simple coming in here in confluence to show a lot of support for Bitcoin's price. If we were to happen on the ultimate bear case, if we were to break through again, I do think we're going to come back and fill the gap at 8,500. But although that's in the cards, it is the least likely scenario, in my opinion. We would come back and retest the 200 and bounce off of it before we actually head downward and into the $8,500 area there. So not looking for that sort of move right now. Although some people, I've seen some people on YouTube as of late calling the NVT. Let's bring out the NVT actually. Network value to transaction, NVT signal. And so we've seen a lot of people claim that this is sort of the thing to watch out for. And we want to get the at least the daily on here. Saying that you know, Willie Woo is estimating that Bitcoin's actual price is around the $5,000 range. Based on the NVT signal, but you know, even himself, Willie Woo has come out and said that the NVT has been subject to manipulation and easily persuade in one way or another to show what you want it to show. So you know, not really relying on that. So if you do hear about the NVT, you know, I stopped using it because, again, since I've heard from the man himself that it is a manipulatable indicator. You know, it's in my opinion, its reliance has kind of fallen through the cracks or fallen off the shelf now, and definitely not something that I am looking for or looking to assess what Bitcoin might do or its current value. It also does not take it does not take in consideration any transactional amount that's going on in layer 2 solutions like Lightning Network or a SegWit. None of those transactions are being equated into this calculation with the NVT. So again, it's not as valid as you would think, or as we once thought it was. Although a lot of analysts, financial analysts, do use it. Again, I just gave you my reasons why I don't think that it's a very reliable tool or a very reliable indicator to give you an assessment of the current market. All right, so there we go. I'm gonna get rid of this thing now. So The other thing I wanted to mention is we already took a look at coin market cap, and we saw how there's a lot of coins in the green, but not making significant moves. Other than Chainlink is the one alt that I am looking to, and Stellar. So Link, we have been paying attention to Link coming back down, and I told you guys in previous videos, go back and watch the Sunday video where we talk about that. We actually went in depth. We did a more in-depth technical analysis, chart analysis on a bunch of coins, and we pretty much said, hey, look, there's an entry point coming in at 295 and 275. First entry point is going to be 295, and then it actually bounced off of it, and for the next couple of days stayed above it, but then went back and actually fulfilled the prophecy at 275. It actually dipped down into the 260, the low 260 range, which was a bit unexpected, but then it had an even stronger response or a stronger bounce off of this 100 simple here. And I mean, look at that, just recuperating quite nicely. I'll be honest with you guys. When I saw this move to 260, I was a little iffy on what might happen. I thought maybe we'd go back and retest the 55 down here, but it actually, again, it dipped a little harder than we expected, but bounced harder also than we expected, and is currently trading right underneath the 30. I went back and retested the 30 a couple of times, and we're currently right underneath it. Eventually, again, with Bitcoin grinding its way up, I do think that Chainlink should follow along with that. It's definitely looking like it had its correction, and it's now ready to keep grinding upwards and maybe come back and retest some of these previous highs over here at 365 would probably be our next stop, and then from there we could see it retest, some of these higher wicks at 3.98 and back into the $4 range eventually, right? So definitely paying attention. I am happy to say that finally I found a good entry point into Link, and so full disclosure, I am in Link. I'm not trying to shill it, but I mean the price action does give us plenty to talk about, and so that's why we're shining a light on it in this channel. Our RSI on the daily is looking like it wants to come out of the bearish control zone here down in this area, and it does look like it wants to come into the more neutral zone. It's actually looking more bullish than Bitcoin at the very moment. If we go back and look at Bitcoin here, it did take a cross to the downside, letting us know that there could be a little bit more pressure downwards into the 21. But again, I don't think we're going to break it. Okay, so I do think if we go back and retest it, I do think we're going to bounce off of it again. But overall, Link is looking more bullish with its chart, trying to get out of the bearish momentum zone into the neutral zone, and eventually working its way, grinding its way up into the more bullish control zone. So definitely looking forward to that. Hopefully you took advantage of those calls that we gave you Sunday night. If you are, could you please leave it in the comments? I definitely want to know if you guys are paying attention. Definitely want to know if you guys took a trade on that. And if you did, I would love to hear from you. And it doesn't have to be, that you got it from this channel. Maybe you got it from somewhere else. Maybe you got a signals group, which, by the way, I'm not into. I'm not trying to be a signals channel. Occasionally, I will warn you guys or let you know what I'm seeing in the charts on Twitter. In between these episodes. So if you go to my Twitter account, the real SHA256 at Twitter, you'll be able to see my updates, and anytime that I tweet about any particular project or coin having a bounce or making a significant move or something to talk about. So take advantage of those. Again, I'm not trying to be a signals guy. I'm not trying to be a signals channel, but occasionally I do enjoy giving you guys some of that information. Not financial advice, but again, just sharing what I'm doing. Taking a sip of water. Sorry, guys. Litecoin having, just having sort of consolidating moment here. Looking at the daily here, looking like it's definitely in control of the bears right now. It is trying to have a cross to the upside on the RSI down here, and get into the more neutral zone. If it does, we can definitely start talking about a bounce. But with all the stuff that Charlie Lee has been known to say in the last few days, maybe this past week, where he's definitely come out and confirmed that the halvening price is already priced into Litecoin at the current moment, and we see Litecoin definitely having an adverse price action and currently trading around $103. Let's take a look at this retracement from body to body, right? 27%. It's pretty significant. It's pretty significant. Um, let's look at the all-time low and the all-time high body to body. Looks like it went $542 or 542% in the positive, but it has since started to give us a little bit of a headache because the halvening, as Charlie Lee said, has been priced in. So about 27, 28% retracement since the top. And then not only that, but he's also come out and said that he expects the price is likely to drop a bit more since the network is about to slow down as of the halvening event coming up in the first week of August. He is calling for a slower or the slowdown of Litecoin's network due to some miners dropping off the network, and so that will bring an adjustment in the blocks. So he does expect that to happen or to go on for a week or two, and then the network will readjust the hashing power or readjust the difficulty according to the hashing power remaining in the network, and then things will go back to normal, right? So that certainly doesn't help the price of Litecoin at the very moment. We're going to have to wait and see. It does look like it wants to consolidate around the 103 area. Currently trading in between the 200 symbol and the 89 EMA. Does look like it is finding a good point of support here, and it does look again like it wants to sort of consolidate here, trying to build a base here. We can kind of see it starting to form sort of a triangle, descending triangle here. Looks like it's trying to flag out here. There we go. That looks better. All right, so it certainly looks like it's trying to flag out here, trying to form a descending triangle. Once we get about a little bit more full on this formation, I do think we're going to see a breakdown or a breakup or a breakout. But the way things have been going for Litecoin, it looks like the more likely scenario is that it's going to have to come back and retest some of these lows here, with the 377 coming in around 94 cents. And then we're having the simple 200 coming in right below it at around 88 cents. It does look again like it wants to break down into a more lower territory, again around the 93 first of all, and then we'll see from there. If it does have a bounce and comes back and does break through this this bottom resistance line on the way up, then we can reassess from there and see where we might where price action might take us in the near future. All right, let's look at Ethereum. Not really having a bounce. And this is what I've been talking about. Some of these coins, when Bitcoin dips, these coins also dip. But then when Bitcoin has a bounce, a lot of these are not bouncing along with it. Ethereum, for the most part, has been one of those solid projects that has pretty much mirrored what Bitcoin has been doing as far as ups and downs, although right now it's kind of lagging behind. I do think it's consolidating right on top of the 55, and it could definitely come back and retest. Although this is going to act as significant resistance here. We have a confluence of the simple 100, the 30, and the 21 coming in the same area. So it is going to act as definite resistance here. So it's going to have a tough time getting through this 289, $290 range here. If it does break through it, then you'll know that it's going to have enough volume and enough support to actually come back and retest this area here at 312. And if we do break that, we can definitely come back and retest the 340 range. All right. So overall, I think this will be my first line that we're going to draw in the sand here. This will be our first line of resistance that we want to see Ethereum break through to the upside before we start getting any bullish. If we do close a 4-hour above the 289, then again we start to turn more bullish on it, and then we also have to see the RSI come back into the more neutral zone here before we start again to get optimistic on Ethereum. All right, so watch out for that. I'm just going to take a quick look at the 4-hour, see what it's doing. Consolidating right above the 377. That's pretty good because we don't want to see it dip below the 377 because there's not going to be much support coming in here. It's going to find some support down here though, but that is a significant drop. I don't think that a lot of you in Ethereum are going to want to see this, or are not going to like what I'm telling you guys here at $228. So that's on the 4-hour, right? Let's go back to the daily. Yeah, see, we have the simple 200 coming in here, acting as support at 229. But on the daily, which gives us a better idea, it'll have to get through again to 377, the Aqua 89, the simple 200, and what do we have here? The 200 EMA. So there's plenty of support along the way there before we get to 229. There's going to be plenty of stops here, plenty of opportunity to have a bounce. But again, until we close the 4-hour candle above the 289 range, 290 range, we can't really get too optimistic on the outlook for Ethereum. All right, let's look at XRP. XRP was trying to have a bounce, but I mean, as I was telling you on the last video, it did look like it wanted to retest these lows down here, and look at that, it actually touched it and bounced off of it, which is okay to see, but not. I don't think XRP is out of the woods yet. I really don't. We're gonna have to see some sort of significant event or something very, very positive for XRP. It does look like it's losing a lot of momentum. It does look like the XRP army has kind of gone on a vacation for the time being, and is not coming in to support its beloved project. Let's see. Let's shrink it up a little bit. Yeah, it's just not looking like it's it's not looking too good for XRP. It's going to come back and retest the ultimate lows here if we don't find something to bring us back up into these prior 40 cents range anytime soon. So XRP is definitely in desperate need of some help here, guys. Otherwise, I do think it's going to come back and retest this bottom area here around 26 cents. I know the XRP army is probably not going to like hearing what I'm saying. Pretty thirsty tonight, guys. Sorry about that. So let's look at the 4-hour. See what the 4-hour is telling us. Pretty much the same. Last line of support here, the 30 simple, coming in as support. Again, it's another one of those coins that takes participation in the dips, but it's not participating in the bounces, right? I mean, slight bounce, but nothing to get too crazy about, nothing to get bullish about or optimistic with XRP. It's not looking too good for XRP, even though it had the golden cross back here, right over here, right in this area here. Not really taking advantage of it. And let's see, hasn't made a death cross. Let's look at the 200 here, the blue line. Yeah, that's on the 4 hour, guys. That's on the 4 hour. We see the green 55 crossing this blue line to the downside. That is very bearish, guys. Death cross on the 4 hour. The 55 is crossing the 200 EMA to the downside. It had the golden cross right back here, right in this area back here, around May 14th. Yep, crossing. Excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. Oh gosh, excuse me. Having the golden cross back here in middle of May, and now we see the death cross coming in here. The 55 crossing the blue 200 here to the downside. So that would explain this massive drop here. Sorry about that. I actually missed that. I had actually not looked at that. Where is the golden cross? Right here is where it happened. So right as of this candle here to the low, to the ultimate low here, body to body, about 20% retracement. Currently trading at 33 cents, 33.94 or 34 cents actually. 15% retracement since the golden cross, right about here. We see it right here. Okay, so not a good thing. XRP looking very bearish. Although the RSI did have is showing us a pretty bullish stature right now. That's on a 4 hour, so it is the lower time frames. Although I do carry a little bit of weight with the 4 hour. We're gonna have to see, guys. We're gonna have to see. I do think XRP is struggling right now. It's definitely looking like it's struggling. Hopefully, it'll build a base, and like I said, the XRP army is gonna have to come in with some massive support and do something about this before we can even start to get a little bit optimistic on XRP. All right, so let me know if I missed something. Let me know in the comments if I missed something, if you agree with me or not here with XRP. What are you guys thinking? I'm not against XRP. I'm not against the XRP army at all. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing in the charts, okay? So don't go coming at me telling me that I'm spreading FUD. That's what the chart is showing you guys, okay? Look at Litecoin. Let's look at BNB coin. Yeah, having a pretty good balance. Actually was looking pretty dim there for a while, trading and actually breaking the 377 there, and the simple 10. Is that our simple 10? Yeah, it is our simple 10 coming in there along with the 377, and it was looking pretty nasty, pretty gnarly right down here at about 28 cents, but then having a nice bounce off of that. And see, that's the kind of reaction you want to see from any coin after a dip. Excuse me, anything that is halfway healthy, as far as a project, as a coin, something that is worth trading in, you definitely want to see something like that right after a dip. Let's look at the measure the correction from the wick low to the wick high. Look at that, about a 15% bounce. I mean, you can't be mad at that. You actually can say that it's BNB coin is actually trying. Currently trading above the 10 simple here and the 377, which is good. Looks like the simple 100 is coming in here as support, trading right at it, but it's going to find some resistance here at the 55. If we do break the 55, then we can come back and regain maybe the 89 EMA here at about 32.61. And then we'll reassess from there. But this is to me, this is going to be the key right here. If we can close a 4 hour candle above 32.50, then we reassess from there and take another look, because BNB coin could be having another or a continuation to the upside is what we're thinking with that. Okay, so let's take a look at VeChain, because I do think VeChain had uh, an okay reaction. And we're not going to get too crazy. I mean, it did test the blue, the Aqua 89 here, and then retraced all the way back down to the 21. Right now, the 21 is actually offering its support. So it's not looking too bad. I mean, it's not looking great, but it's not looking too bad. Taking a look at the daily here, daily is actually looking not so good, to be honest. Not so good for VeChain. We need to see it come back above the Aqua 89 and the simple 200 here, in order to start to get a little bit more optimistic on VeChain. We definitely need a bounce to this area. Like I said, it did wick into the 55 here on the daily, but rejected after that twice already. So there's going to be a third pass if we don't go and break to the upside here and at least close a 4-hour candle at the simple 200 here. Then we're probably going to see a rejection and coming back to retest the low here at around 0.006023. Okay. All right. So stay tuned for that. Let's look at the 4-hour. Hopefully there are 4-hour. Yeah. I mean, it's looking a little better, but not. I'm not getting too crazy about the price action right now. Let's measure the bounce here from the low. 16% bounce to I mean from body to body, but right now is actually um, the gross bounce is about 13%. Okay. So I mean it's okay, right? It's definitely in the double digits. Nothing to shake a stick at. As long as again it stays above the 21 in the 4-hour, then we're okay. It looks like it actually has closed a couple of candles. So on the 4-hour, as things are looking a little better. Um, would certainly like to see it come back and retest the right here, retest the Aqua 89 here at around 0.0072, and then we start to reevaluate and start to get a little bit more optimistic on VeChain. But as of right now, not things are not looking great. They're not as bad as some other altcoins. It's kind of in the middle of things, right? It's looking pretty average, not below average. All right, let's look at EOS and then we'll wrap it up with the TA side of things. 4-hour not looking great at all. Actually, want to squeeze this in a little bit. Not looking great at all. Trading underneath the 30. It's the last line of support here for EOS. We're going to have to find a bounce here somewhere. The EOS community is going to have to come in and buy some of this, buy the dip here. Otherwise, I do think we're going to come back and retest this prior line of support here, which it kind of already did and bounced off of it, which is good to see, but not having a significant bounce. Otherwise, here's our line of support coming in right around 0.430 or 4.30. Again, it almost went back and retested that area to the dot and have had a bounce for the time being. But again, if we don't get on top of this, if we don't come back and regain the 30 simple on the 4-hour and start closing some candles there and actually start to reach for the 21, then if we don't see that, then and we're also seeing a looks like a cross to the downside on the RSI on the daily, or actually the 4-hour RSI. I do again hold a little bit of weight on this, so I am starting to think that it's going to come back and retest it, um, unless something drastically changes in the next day or two over the weekend, which I don't anticipate it. I don't anticipate for anything like that to happen over the weekend. Again, we don't typically see much trading volume coming in the weekend. Most everything is just running on autopilot and the cruise control. So I do think it's probably going to stay here in this area and just trade sideways, build a base. But again, coming early next week, I do want to see a move to the upside. If not, We're gonna have to come back and retest this area of support here around 4.3. Okay. All right. So that's all I've got for the T8 side of things. I want to wrap it up with the tweet storm by Mr. Donald Trump. This came out last night, or at least I didn't catch wind of this until late last night after I had recorded my last video. And, you know, Mr. Donald Trump coming out and saying he's not the biggest fan of crypto, coming in with the age-old, just cliche argument that these crypto assets facilitate unlawful behavior, including drug trade and/or illegal activity, which is the dumbest thing in crypto. I mean, how did we find so many criminals using Bitcoin? I mean, the FBI it has pretty much anyone that has been involved in criminal illegal activity using Bitcoin has been caught, right? Um, take a look at the Silk Road incident or case, right? That's how the guy got caught, and that was back in like 2012, 2013 timeframe where Bitcoin was still a pretty nascent technology, still is, but I mean 2012, 2013 timeframe. I mean that Bitcoin was just let's just say that hardly anyone had heard of it. Um, and I mean, this just triggered an onslaught of responses and people just coming out to defend Bitcoin, which is what you want to see. I do want to point out and highlight Mrs. Caitlin Long here. I am a big fan. She is a cryptocurrency blockchain entrepreneur and somebody who's a trailblazer in the state of Wyoming, bringing a more open regulation to the state of Wyoming and actually opening the doors and putting out the welcome mat for any company, any startup in the crypto sphere, anything related to blockchain. And we see the case, we see the prime example there with IOHK, the infamous Charles Hodgkinson, coming in and putting his money where his mouth is and establishing a headquarters in Wyoming because of the friendly regulation. And all has been led by Caitlin Long and her team. And she's, coming back at Mr. Trump saying, hey, it sounds like you are being misled by your staff. It sounds like the members of your staff are not very knowledgeable in this space. Let us come in and actually help you and show you how blockchain is positive and how it is best to have a more open approach to cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and the Libra coin. I guess we can package them all together. And she does point out that the fact that the FBI favors the cryptocurrency activity because it is a public ledger. It is something that Mr. Trump does not know and needs to be aware of, that it is a public ledger, an immutable ledger. Everything gets recorded on there and anybody can go there and see it. And that's how the FBI has been able to, successfully track down some of these illicit activity in the space, right? So, Caitlin Long, not all heroes wear capes. Definitely, if you're not following her, definitely give her a follow. She's a very interesting lady, very smart, very capable, and just overall one of the biggest influencers in the crypto sphere. So definitely give her a follow. Mr. Pompliano, Mr. Schiff also getting in the mix. Everybody is here's Mr. Pump here. If your argument is that Bitcoin is based on thin air, while Bitcoin's argument is that it is based on math, who should we believe? Asking for a friend. So, all the crypto dog getting in here. I mean, all these crypto Twitter celebrities coming in here in support for Bitcoin. Definitely a good thing. Charlie Shrem, we see him here. So definitely plenty of support. Everybody pleading their case, letting Mr. Trump know that, hey, he's in the wrong. you should check this out further and actually seek some real advice. But overall, again, as I was mentioning in the beginning of the video, I do all of this. I do think that all of this mentioning of Bitcoin, even though Mr. Trump is not the biggest fan of cryptocurrencies, he didn't say he hated it. He didn't outright come out and say that it is the worst thing. Kind of like Warren Buffett has expressed himself, saying that Bitcoin is rat poison squared. Um, Mr. Trump taking a more balanced um, approach, if you will. But again, if you're not following me on these different channels, Twitter, Instagram, definitely give me a follow there and let me know that you are following at the Real Shaw 256. I do appreciate when you guys hit the follow button and like the any of my content and actually share it. I do feel the love. Some of you have reached out, and I do appreciate that. Let me know if I missed something. Leave it in the comments. Reach out to me, guys. I really appreciate it when you do. Okay, so I'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great night. Enjoy the weekend, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.